Now I'll be very honest with you guys. I love sharing content at the beginning of a semester or at the beginning of the year because usually this is before every single thing comes and you actually have sort of time and a moment to decide what approach you're gonna take. And this is the time you can actually use to work to preventing a lot of things from happening. I think in a few episodes or in a few sort of videos from now, I'm going to be chatting about how to avoid academic exclusion, which I think I've gotten a lot of messages from people on how to appeal when they've been excluded and stuff. And that's stuff that I don't want to see, because I don't want to see you guys in these situations. I don't want to see you guys not reaching your academic goals and just getting to that sort of place you want to get to pass your year and finish your degree in as minimal time as possible, and maybe even go on to study further. And that all boils down to this point right here, right now, and the mindset that you take going into this semester and going into the rest of the year. You know, sort of how you approach it, how well you start, and how consistent you are throughout the semester. Super important. So I'm gonna be breaking it down, because obviously I want the best for you guys. I want you guys to really have a fantastic semester and a brilliant year. You know, just break records for yourself and just get to those goals. So yeah. So I briefly mentioned it, but the key to a great semester, and I think even a great year as well, is how you start. How do you start? You know, when you first hit foot on the first day of the new semester, whether it's already passed or even if it's still coming, whenever that is for you, you know, how are you starting? How did you start? What was the first thing you did? You know, within your first week, first 2 weeks, first month, what did that look like? You know, how consistent were you? Did you show up, or were you sluggish? Were you slow? Were you attending here and there? Were you inconsistent? How did you start? Because your start is critical for the momentum that you build leading up in the semester, and also for the rest of the year. Because this is all a momentum game. The more momentum you have, and the more sort of forward momentum you see yourself having, the better you're going to do, and the more confident you'll feel coming into the tests, coming into the exams as well. So I want you guys to start building that momentum for yourselves by starting great. And when I say great starting, what does that actually mean? Well, essentially, let me start with academics, of course, but just staying on top of your academics, staying on top of your coursework, trying to show up to the important lectures, the ones that are sort of NB, and trying not to skip a lot of your lectures. You know, I know there's sort of a lot of us don't go to all of our lectures, but don't let this be a habit. Don't normalize you not going to lectures and seeing this as a normal thing for you, because you need to deeply prioritize and understand what you want to achieve. And if you want to pass, you need to be serious. You need to be serious. You need to put your head down. You need to focus. And that's the start that I want you guys to have. I want you guys to sort of consistently attend those important lectures. Be there, show up, and when you're there, be attentive. You know, focus on what's being said on the lectures. When you get back from your lectures, consolidate the work however you do it, whether it's through writing notes, consolidating your notes, revising the topics, all that stuff. And I think even all the assignments that you start getting, all the homework that you start getting, do them, guys. Do them as soon as possible. Don't leave things for last minute, because you're building that habit. You know, at the beginning of every semester and the year, essentially, you need to start forming the right habits. This needs to be a focus of yours, to say that, okay, cool, here I am, I'm here today. What habits do I want to have this semester? What habits do I want to have this year? And let me start forming them. Because if you don't want to procrastinate before exams, if you don't want to sort of always find yourself doing things last minute throughout the year, or if you don't want yourself sort of failing, then you need to set up success habits. You need to set up those positive habits that are going to carry you throughout the semester. Because if you don't do this for yourself, then negative habits are gonna form, because whether you like it or not, whether you choose them or you don't choose them, you are gonna have habits. You already have habits already. I mean, you have habits, but you're gonna form negative habits, and as you progress throughout the year, you're just gonna solidify those habits. So form the right habits. I'd say get a piece of paper down, write down what habits you wanna have, whether you wanna do things on time, whether you wanna sort of adequately prepare, whether you wanna sort of submit assignments and homework on time, whether you wanna always be ready for semester tests. Understand what you want, your goals. Then from there, start building habits. I'm gonna study this many hours a day. I'm gonna go to the library 3 times a week. I'm gonna wake up consistently at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna attend all my morning lectures. I'm gonna attend all this modules lectures. I'm not gonna skip a day of consolidating my notes. Just write all these habits for yourself down that you wanna have in the new semester, and sort of take that paper, put it up somewhere on the wall where you can see it on a daily basis, so that you know what you're working towards, you know what you need to get done, you know what you're prioritizing. And once you have that, once you have solid habits, you cannot fail. Literally, guys, once you build those positive habits that you're consistently doing over time, you cannot fail. And it's probably a lot easier than it sounds, because building habits is no easy feat. Building habits is tough. It requires resilience. It requires you to be consistent. It requires you to show up when you don't want to show up, when you feel tired, when you feel demoralized. And I've had those days, guys. I've had those days where I feel tired, where I feel demoralized, where I feel like I don't want to do this anymore. I have negative voices in my head that I have to really just shove down and just make them keep quiet. And that's what you need to do. Guess what? I'll never believe it, but I made a second channel. Yes, guys, I made a second channel just chatting all things sort of self-development, and I think helping you on your journey. And I think it's more general content, but specifically is going to help you a lot outside university, into the rest of your life. I just thought, I've provided so much content here in varsity, but there's so much more things. I think the journey is so long. So yes, guys, leave a subscription for my second channel as well. Do check out some of the videos there. Very high quality, my standard. And yeah, let's continue with the video. I think also something to keep in mind in starting the semester is, what do you do on the days when you don't want to show up? What do you do on those tough days? Those days where, I don't feel today. I don't feel like getting up today. I don't feel like studying today. I don't feel like working today. I don't feel like going to the gym today. I don't wanna, what do you do on those days? Have that on your mind already at the beginning of the semester, and define for yourself what you want to do on those days. Because if you're serious about getting the results, if you're serious about sort of meeting your self expectations, whether you want a distinction, whether you just want to pass, whatever you want, if you're serious about it, then you're going to be serious on those days where you don't want to do it as well. I've had plenty of those days, and I've faltered here and there. It's okay, but you need to consistently show up, and you need to define in your mind what you're going to do on those days. And when those days come, you need to actually do it. And it's easier said than done. If all this was easy, by the way, guys, all the stuff that I'm sharing, if all of it was easy, every single person would be, getting 70s, 80s, 90s. Would be getting distinctions, would be passing. Every single person would be. But that's not the reality. And the simple truth is because it's difficult. Habitual change is difficult. And sort of doing things when you feel you're not motivated or when you feel you're tired is not easy as well. So understand that it's not going to be easy. That's a guarantee. But I think there's always struggle in life, whether you go through university or whether you go through life, or whichever phase you're in, there's always going to be struggle. You need to understand that. And whichever path you take, there's always going to be struggle as well. Getting a degree, there's a lot of struggle. But not having a job and a lot of sort of uncertainty, that's also a struggle. There will always be struggle, guys. You're just choosing your struggle. So I think lastly as well, just sort of getting into this frame of mind of how can I make the most of this semester? How best can I start? I think it's very important for you to be kind to yourself. To be kind to yourself and to understand that things won't be perfect. Things will never be perfect, actually. Let me be honest with you. It'll never get to a point in time where every single thing is perfect as you want it to be and as you see it in your mind. Because I think a lot of fulfillment we get is through the journey. That's just something that I intrinsically believe. That's just something that's sort of ingrained itself in my mind. And I think it's very true, is that we derive a lot of fulfillment and happiness. And just when we're pushing towards something, there's just that thing inside of us that is happy. But I think you need to understand that it won't be perfect. You might falter here and there during the semester. You might miss a few lectures. You might, not show up on a day or two and you don't feel like showing up. You might set plans to study and you don't study. You might perhaps not complete that assignment that you wanted to finish on a specific day. There's so many things that might happen, probably will happen. And I don't want you guys to be demoralized or defined by these days, because you need to have some sense of, just allowing yourself to make mistakes and allowing yourself to have bad days, because it really is okay. You need to be kind to yourself in those days, but the next day you need to treat that as a fresh slate. Don't let what happened yesterday define your today. You need to start off from scratch, go back to your goals, go back to your habits that you want to have this semester, and live out that day as if it's a brand new day, which it is, of course. This is the approach that I take as well. I know maybe yesterday wasn't that great, but today I'm here now. Today's a new day. I define what's going to happen today. So let me leave what happened yesterday. It's fine. Yesterday was yesterday, but let me focus on today. Let me get today done. Let's push. Let me extend myself. Let me, get this stuff done. And let me sort of reach those high heights for myself and for those around me. So it's important for you to have that mindset and knowing that, yes, you're striving to do something great. You're striving to pass. You're striving to instill positive habits. You're striving to be consistent. But if you falter, it's okay. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off. Let's go again. That's all you can do. Because if you just wallow in, today was a horrible day. Yesterday was so bad. This week's been awful. And if you're focused on those negative thoughts and on those negative perceptions, you're just projecting negativity into your future, and you're essentially defining the rest of the week, the rest of the month, or the rest of the year for yourself. Because if you build up a lot of bad days, your year's going to be a bad year. That's just literally how it is. So I want you guys to really adopt these sort of things that I've provided, and I think as well, just make those adjustments to your mindset that you need to make. Really just bring your mindset to where it needs to be in order for you to achieve success for yourself. Because this is a mental game. I think a lot of people say this. I always say it as well, but it really is a mental game. It's how you are mentally. It's the mindset you have. It's the self-image you have. And it's all these things that come together to determine how much effort you put in and how successful you are. And in just beginning with this semester, I really want you guys to get that right start. I want you guys to get that perfect footing. I want you guys to start where you need to be in order to finish where you want to finish. And I really hope you guys apply all these things. Apply them from today, guys. Apply them from right now. There's no better time than the present to get it done. See yourself getting that success and see yourself reaching those goals. Because obviously, once again, if you don't, no one else is going to do it for you. So I hope you've gotten some value from this one. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please smash that like button. I'd really appreciate that from you guys. If you haven't subscribed as well, guys, please just leave a subscription for the channel. And yeah, guys, until the next one, let's continue on our journey in creating